All right, we have some new thighs in the game, and I want to go over these really quickly. Wait, there's a unit before this. Okay, hold on. We have a husbando to go over before this. So I'm gonna be talking about the thighs in a minute, but we have Tobias here. Tobias is the new Wind Blade, and first thing you think when you see Tobias, Wind Blade, and of course with the crazy power creep and Dragali lost recently, you're thinking he's a Wind Blade. Who's a Wind Blade right now? Victor, Addis, mostly Victor, and Victor is power creep because all the new units recently have been really, really strong. So you're thinking, all right, Victor is out of the meta until he gets to 70 mana circles. Goodbye. You did great, Morpheus, but we have to make way for Tobias for the Church of Ilia or whatever. But he has a different code ability than Victor, so you technically could use them both on the same team. But I'll discuss why I don't think you should do that in a minute. But you technically could. Anyways, so Tobias is here, and I haven't really heard of Tobias myself, but I guess he's in some adventure story. He's in I don't remember whose story it was. He's in somebody's story. But apparently that's what he is. Again, I don't know for sure. That's just what I've been hearing. But anyways, he's a support unit, and he power creeps a couple units. Let me talk about it though. So first of all, skill 1. Eternal Grace increases the strength of wind-attuned adventurers in the team by 30% for 15 seconds. Now, if you compare this to other buffs, this is actually one of the strongest buffs in the game, and it's on a skill 1. I believe Noelle's 25% for 15 seconds. This is an extra 5% for the same amount of time. Now, we don't know what his SP cost is going to be. Now, if its SP cost is 3,000 or under, he's going to be ridiculously broken, potentially the best unit in the game. Literally the best, or maybe not the best unit in the game, but at least the best unit for a win because of how much strength up he can give the entire team. But if it's something high like 5k, I don't think he's going to be that good at all. Because if his skill 1 is 5k, that means his skill 2 is going to be like 10k plus. So, yeah, we'll have to see what this SP cost on the skill is. Again, we don't know what it is yet. But at the moment, I think he has potential to be in the meta for HMC as the, on the meta staple team. That's what I think. But again, we don't know for sure. But so that's his skill 1, very solid skill 1. His skill 2 has a huge wall of Yu-Gi-Oh text, which I don't know why there's a huge Yu-Gi-Oh text. Why did they have to make this so complicated? Basically, what it does is it activates this thing for 10 seconds. During this thing, your standard attack patterns will change. The skill gauge for Eternal Grace will be gradually filled over time. Eternal Grace is, of course, the skill 1. Will be gradually filled over time for 7 seconds. So that's 7 of the 10 seconds, which is weird. I don't know why it's not just the full 10 seconds. And the user will be unable to move. So what I don't understand is, how are your standard attack patterns changing, but you can't move? Are you going to stand in the same spot and attack? That's what I'm assuming. Kind of like how a wand or, range units, they stand in the same spot and they shoot their whatever out. So that's what I'm assuming he's going to be doing, which is going to be interesting how how a blade is just not going to move. And use 4 strikes or dodge. You literally can't do anything besides use standard attacks, which is funny. This skill will also become Revelation's Purge and be immediately ready for use. Sacred Blade will end after a set period of time. Sacred Blade, sorry, is supposed to be 10 seconds. I don't know why it says after a set period of time. Or after using Revelation's Purge. So wait, hold on. For 10 seconds, the skill will also become and be immediately. So I actually think, okay, I didn't even realize this when I first read this. I think Revelation's Purge is going to be automatically ready as soon as you touch the skill 2. So you could just skill 2 right away and get out of this Sacred Blade thing. You could just do that actually, which is interesting. That's what I'm assuming. Again, he's not out yet. We can't try him out. And of course, the video that they have showing the skill doesn't even exist because the new videos on YouTube suck for Psy games. So that's what I'm assuming actually. Interesting. Revelation's Purge deals wind damage to multiple targets and enemies near those targets, and inflicts poison. Targets will be chosen by their proximity to the user, and if the number of enemies available to target, so kind of like Galeo's skill. Skill gauge for this skill can be filled by attacking enemies, but will also gradually fill automatically. So I'm assuming this part is talking about Sacred Blade, not about the second one, Revelation's Purge. I think Revelation's Purge is just something you use, and then it goes back to Sacred Blade. That's what I'm assuming, right? Abilities that increase skill gauge filler will not affect this automatic increase. That's what I assume. Again, this is just such a long text that I have no idea how it works. Basically, though, you're dealing poison. You're standing still while you charge up your skill 1, technically, while you can still attack, etc. There's so much going on with this skill. It's like I don't even know what's happening. I don't even understand what's going on. So what I'm assuming is you stand in your spot. You can either skill again and use Revelation's Purge to end Sacred Blade, and then it goes back to Sacred Blade, or it actually doesn't say it goes back. So do you only use this once? So you only use it once. It says the skill will become. Actually, I think you only use it once, Sacred Blade, and then it becomes Revelation's Purge for the rest of the match. I have no idea. That's what I'm assuming because it doesn't say it goes back, actually. Okay, that's what I think. I think it's going to stay Revelation's Purge after you use Sacred Blade once. Okay, so it's not too bad. I would say if you had to stand in the same spot a lot of the time during the match, that would be pretty annoying. But again, you could still attack, and it's going to charge your skill gauge for your skill 1 anyway. So that interesting. Again, we don't know how much this SP cost is. If it's ridiculously high, because it does fill automatically, and usually skills that fill automatically, like, look at Delphi, look at Gaul Yuden, look at Albert. Albert has a little bit less time. Actually, Delphi has less time than both of them. But units like that, they usually take quite a bit of time to get their skills ready. Delphi's probably the only exception. Delphi's skills don't really take too long. I think it's like, also I'm like burping. I'm not like burping. It's like, I don't know. Anyways, so they usually take, I think Delphi's is 13 seconds and 20 seconds. I think it's something like that. But yeah, so again, if this SP cost is very high, he's not going to have a good poison uptime, which is going to hurt his viability just a little bit. But again, he's not mainly there for poison. He's there for the buffs that he brings. And let's just talk about his cold ability. Again, buff time cold ability is insane. This is the very first time we've ever seen a buff time cold ability. And this is not only going to buff him, it's going to buff any other buffers on the team as well. So you would run him with like a Noel, or actually you wouldn't run him with a Noel because, again, he increases strength, and you don't want a Noel to increase strength because that they stack additively, I believe, if you add strength increases on top of each other. However, if you run him with Dragon Yule Zanefried, you get strength up and crit rate up, which again, I believe it's crit rate 20% for 15 seconds off of Zanefried. And again, those stack multiplicatively rather than double strength, which stack additively. Is that even a word? Additively? I think it is. So yeah, this buff time cold ability is really, really strong. Again, the first time we've ever seen this. And he already has an innate buff time plus 25%. So just by his own kit, he has buff time plus 45%. And then again, you can add more things onto him, like the one Noel print. I believe it's called Dog Days or a Dog's Day, something like that. And that's going to have even more buff time. And he has just absolutely insane buff time. And he's going to, like when he uses this, it's going to be up for, let's see. It's going to be up for at least like 70 seconds, I think. I believe it's going to be up for like 70 seconds, or it's not 70, oh my god, 70 seconds. 70% extra than 15. So let's do 15 times 1.7. So 15 times 1.7. It's going to be up for 25 seconds-ish when he uses this skill 1, which is pretty crazy. And that's 30% for 25 seconds, which is ridiculous if you're running Dog Days on him. So he also has Bog Riders, again, great for HMC. Poison Punisher, again, he's not mainly the DPS, but he does deal damage with his skill 2 off of Revelation's Purge, and he has Poison, so he kind of is self-reliant on that, so that's pretty nice of him to have. And again, having Poison lets him be able to inflict Poison onto HMC, and again, if he can keep a good Poison uptime, you can run him with somebody like Kirsty, or I don't know, Victor with the Poison Punisher print, or just anybody with the Poison Punisher print, really. So that's, again, very nice thing for him. Now, I want to talk about this dragon before I talk about what I think is going to happen for the future of HMC. So first of all, her thighs, off of a scale, I have a picture of Nobunaga here for comparisons. My computer's really weird. So for comparisons, here's a picture of Nobunaga. This dragon has, I think she might have better thighs than Nobunaga, which is really scary, because that makes me want to summon. But I don't want to summon for a dragon because, like, I don't know, I feel like you don't really get to see the dragons like modeled that much in the game, and it's just like I don't really want to summon for a dragon because of that. So I'm probably not going to summon on the banner for the dragon. But if you do manage to get yourself Ariel, consider yourself lucky because she's thick. But she has good thighs. Like, if I even have to compare them to Nobunaga, that alone lets you know that she's if I made a thigh tier list, which I probably will at some point, she's gonna be up there. Like, it's probably gonna be all adventures and then just Ariel at the top, Ariel and Nobunaga, and then Fort whenever she's out. But she doesn't really, like, you don't really see her thighs. But anyways, that's okay. Let me stop talking about thighs. Sorry about that. Anyways, Ariel's here. She's the Wind Dragon, and she's basically Freya but for strength, and strength plus 50% rather than Freya's 30% HP. So this is a very solid dragon. For something like Mercurial Gauntlet, she's going to really shine rather than, something like HMC. But she could shine for HMC. She could potentially work on Tobias off of his skill 2. But again, it does fill automatically. So I don't know how well she's really going to work with Tobias. But she could work with a unit like Wedding Ellie. Wedding Ellie does... I've seen a couple run Freya, but you definitely don't want to run Freya. You'd probably run Vayu or Zephyr. But you could probably run her on Wedding Ellie now. You could run her on Noelle, potentially. You could potentially run her on Dragon Zainfried as well. But the thing you have to keep in mind is if you want to run them on either of those two units, you're going to need co-abilities like defense or HP, or you're going to need to run like 2 defensive prints, which you don't want to do because I'm pretty sure you can't live the blast unless you're running like even with the HMC print. Maybe with the HMC print and then like a defense co-ability you can live. I think that will let you live. But yeah, there's also something else you need to know is that she deals damage and inflicts stun off of her skill, whereas Freya heals over time healing as well, and it's for a really long time, and energizes the entire team. So Freya still has that utility. If you're just going to pull straight up for like the skill haste, I don't think it's worth it because Freya also has skill haste and she heals, which again is a very big important thing. Like even for Mercurial Gauntlet, you might want to run Freya for that heal because again, that heal will heal you over time for like I don't know how many seconds it is off the top of my head, but it's going to heal you over time for like just a random guess like 20 seconds, right? It's going to heal you over time for 20 seconds and basically keep you at full HP and energize the entire team, which allows your next skill to be very strong. And again, you're probably going to want to use this on a buffer, which isn't really meant to be a DPS anyways. You're really there to buff your team up. Like Noelle is not there for DPS. This strength is not going to have too big of an impact. Same thing with Zainfried. It's not going to have that big of an impact, but Zainfried I feel like it has a little bit more of an impact. But again, not too big of an impact. Whereas if you use it on something like Wedding Ellie, that would have more of an impact. You see, I could see Ariel being useful on Wedding Ellie. That's probably the main unit I see her. But again, she's thick. I like her design a lot. Her design is pretty nice. She doesn't look like a dragon at all to me, but her design's pretty nice. I like the wings back here, actually. The wings are a beautiful color, and so are her thighs. Anyways, so what do I think is going to be the future of High Mercury? So with Tobias, the new power creep in the game, I think the future of High Mercury is honestly going to look something like this. So if I had to pick the team that would be like optimal, I guess, in HMC, I would say Tobias. I don't know what dragon he would use, but Tobias, probably Kirsty, and Lin Yu with the 70 mana circles. Again, we have to see the mods and everything, but Tobias, Kirsty, Lin Yu, Dragon Zainfried. I could see those 4 working well. Like, yes, you're missing out on healing, but you would have to run Freya on Zainfried. And again, Zainfried gets his dragon up quicker than Noelle because of his skill 2, which charges his dragon gauge. So Zainfried to get his Freya up earlier and get the heal off, get you guys all the way back up to full. Tobias is there to buff. Zainfried is there to buff crit, and those 2 stack multiplicatively. Kirsty gets poison from Tobias' skill 2, and Lin Yu would just be there as a strong DPS. And plus, if you're running the HP and the defense ability, you can actually run double DPS prints on all of your melees. I believe Zainfried will probably have to run like the HMC print still. Actually, he might not since he's running Freya. He might not. But again, he's not even there for DPS anyway, so I don't know what other print you would run on him. But yeah, you could run double DPS prints on all your melees, and that would be a very important thing. And I do think that team would be stronger than the current Victor double Wedding Ellie Noelle comp. I feel like that team would be stronger. Now, yes, you are missing on the Wedding Ellie, and Wedding Ellie is very strong. And I could see a meta where Wedding Ellie is still relevant because of Ariel. I could see something like a Wedding Ellie, Dragon Zainfried, Tobias, and then I don't know who the last one would be. Maybe Kirsty, maybe Lin Yu. You know, there's a lot of potential. We need to see what all the mods are. Maybe even Sufeng, like as the main DPS. Who really knows? If Sufeng becomes like insanely strong with his new 70 mana circles, like there's a lot of potential for the meta to change in HMC, and it definitely will change. The meta will not still be Victor, double Wedding Ellie, and Noelle. I cannot fathom how Tobias or Ariel does not become meta. Like, I cannot see a game where these 2 are not meta in HMC right now after they're implemented into the game. Or at least after the 70 mana circles are out. Once 70 mana circles are out, these 2 are for sure going to be in. So I just, like I said, I 100% see them being in the meta. And do I think you should pull, though? That's what this video is supposed to be about. I didn't even talk about it. Honestly, I don't think you should pull. I think this is huge bait, and I am not going to pull myself. If anything, I'll just do daily deals. I do not think you should pull. Again, we're having a gala soon, and it's going to be the 1.5 year anniversary. Potential new collab coming in the horizon as well. There's a lot of big things coming for Dragalia. Even summer is going to be soon, and we might have limited units on summer. So again, I really think just hold your Wormite, especially after Monster Hunter. You probably don't even have a lot of Wormite, even after like all the banners after Monster Hunter as well. Lots of great banners, so you might not even have any Wormite. Just honestly, hold it. Do not summon. Again, you don't need these units. If you need to be HMC, there's new 70 mana circle units, and I'm sure those will work as well. You probably have Dragon Zainfried or Noelle, and again, those are 4 stars, which will probably be viable. So I don't think you should summon. I don't think it's worth it. Save your Wormite. But again, I do think these units are insanely strong. We haven't had a bad banner for a really long time. So I really want to see just how high Tobias will be. I want to see if he's going to go up to like Galacleo level, because he has the potential. If this is a 3k cost skill, and if this doesn't take too long to charge, he has the potential to be up on Galacleo levels just because of how strong his buff is. But again, I feel like this skill one will have a high SP cost. So yeah, that's everything I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked the video, you know what to do. If you didn't like the video, you know what to do. I'm talking really fast. See you guys next time. Bye.